Go ahead, you're live.
Hi, good morning, good morning, good morning. And how are you guys doing this wonderful? What day today is, Jen? Saturday,
Saturday,
December.
27th.
Um, oh, December 27th. It is, hold on one second. Um, um, Jennifer, yeah, it is yeah, it's the 27th. I'm going to log in and I need to figure out how everybody's doing this wonderful Saturday morning. I am broadcasting from a secret undisclosed location. I don't know why I do that, but I just heard when let me see. Can I just show one person on camera? Um yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah, there
you're
you go.
still on, right? Yeah, good.
I'm here.
So I'll do it this way. Um, I don't know why I report that I am broadcasting live from a secret undisclosed location because I don't know, but I just do. It is 2 days after Christmas, and I am Jamila Russell, your host. And if you're just tuning in at 9:70 a.m. on your radio dial, you are at wstxradio.com or you're following me on my Facebook page. And of course, through modern technology, I don't have to be in the beautiful Virgin Islands to get on air with you. While I do wish I was in the Virgin Islands physically, and then I could just like teleport everybody that I'm with me to the Virgin Islands. But since I can't do that, um, I'm going to just have to be doing it the way that I am doing it. I am happy. I am so happy this week. Y'all just have no idea how happy I am. Um, oops, I so happy about to mess up the Jimmy rig that me and Jen have going on here. But it's always good. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but for me, it's always good to be with my family. As y'all know, I have two boys, and being with both of them just warms my heart and makes me incredibly, incredibly happy. And I have been blessed to have been raised by the most awesome human being in Isabel Maria Romero. And because of her, I have such a wonderful family structure. My family grounds me, and I don't know if ground is the right word. Maybe I need to say humble because my family, they just tell you what they want to tell you, and you know they keep it real 100% of the time, all the time, and because of Isabel's love, Granny's love, I have cousins that aren't your typical cousins. We're like brothers and sisters. We grew up in the same house. We saw each other very frequently. It's so sad when I hear people talk about, oh, I don't really know my cousins. And I'm like, oh, wow. I had 40 odd plus of them suckers, and I know all of them. Some of them, unfortunately, some of them, fortunately. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I love all my cousins. But, um, I just have a wonderful, wonderful family. And I have a cousin I actually share a birthday with. He's my twin. He'd actually go on Facebook and put our real age on Facebook, which really pisses me off. But we have been friends from in the womb, and he is my brother. He's my cousin brother, and um, people on St. Croix, y'all probably remember him as Cisco. I still call him by his childhood nickname, Paquito, because that's his name. And his wife, he married a remarkable woman from St. Thomas, Berricia, and her family. This is the first holiday I get to spend with them, but I hear about these holiday get-togethers, and we had a get-together on Christmas. I was just like, this is just too much food. This is just ridiculous. Like, these people don't know I'm trying to come skinny. I trying to be, sexy to come down the road next year. Parade season, they're not working with me. Um, and they actually had stuff I don't eat. Y'all know I don't eat nothing goat. Ugh. Anyways, and they had like curry goat. I was like, who the hell? What in the name of Jesus is curry goat? But that was the first meat to be done. I was like, this doesn't even make any sense. But Baricia came and we had, and I mean, I'm just talking about this is my mom's at my mom's place, and we just had blood related people and their families, right? Because you know your cousins get married and their families become your family. Like we didn't have like any additional people that we want. It had nobody we wasn't related to, either by blood or by marriage, because they came, right? And we had so much people. I was like, this is why, you know, when growing up, we didn't need birthday parties. We didn't need friends. My grandmother used to have a cake in the living room with a tub of Islandaries ice cream, and you call it Judge. And you needed no friends. You needed no extra person to be able to, you know, have a party. And so all of us was there. It was like a lot, a lot of us. and and we had a remarkable time. It was me, my mom, my auntie Gigi drove up from Florida. You know, my mom, my brother lives here, my sons, my cousins, and we had a remarkable time. My cousin Tiffany, who unfortunately passed 2 years ago, her children came up with their grandmother, Auntie Gigi, and oh, those children are so awesome. I love them to the moon and back. And one of her daughters made the roast pork. I was like, who teach you to season a pork? You ain't never been and like you didn't grow up wrong way. But it's just so good to just see everybody. Um, you know, you have people standing next to each other and you can see how much they resemble each other, how much everybody have familial traits. They do things similarly. They laugh and snort like a pig. You know, oink oink. It was just awesome. So I had the best Christmas ever. Um, yeah, and Letty was finally able to have a picture taken with me, her son, which is my brother, her four grandchildren, and her one great grand. And I think that's all she wanted for Christmas was to be able to take an actual picture with me, my brother, his two kids, my two kids, and his grandson. And she is in picture heaven. Um, well, I don't know if she's in picture heaven because she's not allowed to post it on Facebook. So she's probably dying. But she could post the picture in her house and frame it. She just can't put it on Facebook. And I know that's the part that's killing her. But we had a wonderful time. And so I hope that everybody had a spectacular time. The morning, I was Christmas morning, you know, I was up here and I was listening to Virgin Islands Christmas music. The one thing is when Paquito first Paquito come with his set, right? Like his little set. When Paquito first Paquito was trying to play American Christmas music. He was like, oh, Auntie Let's play Christmas music. I said, that's what you don't call Christmas music? I was like, oh no boy. And so I went and I find the Stanley. I was like, Papa have this. Papa have the Papa have buy the CD. Like, you should tell Papa dub it for you. Because why pay for it twice when you could just, you know, dub it once? Um, I advocate buy music. But I went on YouTube and I found some Stanley and then I think Stanley was on either on Pandora or on Apple Music. They found him, and so we listened to some good Virgin Islands music. Yes, 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 for Christmas. So my heart is full. And then day after Christmas, you know, all of us were reminiscing and we're like, yeah, we would have been after we leave by Granny house, Jamie, you would have been going out to like a jamban and then we'd have meet up at Mommy Ju. I say, yeah, Mommy Jujuve. And I'm glad for all of you who went out to Mommy Jujuve. I hope you all enjoyed yourself. I saw some clips on Facebook. I haven't really been on Facebook. Y'all know I don't really go on Facebook, but my mother lives on Facebook. And so I've seen some of the clips she's been sharing and telling me about on Facebook. So um, it looks like Mombi Jujuve was fun. So I don't No, other than spending time with your family and starting new family traditions, uh, you know, Christmas reminds me, and everybody knows how much I didn't like Christmas. And I think as adults, once you've worked through whatever childhood trauma, teenage trauma, adult, you try to break cycles and start new traditions and, turn a new page. And if I could start to like Christmas, because I am literally a Grinch, my big son will tell you I never put up a Christmas tree before. But you can start new traditions. You can heal and move forward in life, and just create new things for your families to do outside of whatever hurt, pain, trauma experiences you may have had. It makes no sense to hold on to old grudges. Life is too short. Um, and a lot of times we have to find it within ourselves to forgive ourselves, forgive people, and to really enjoy the holidays and the seasons for what it is, an opportunity for rebirth, an opportunity for growth, an opportunity for healing, an opportunity to show love. So we did that. And when everybody left and the dust was settled, we had like extra food. And um, my mother was, in one of her panic fret modes. She was like, "Oh, there's so much food. I don't know. I don't want to throw it away." I was like, "We're not gonna throw away the food." She's like, "Yeah, but it's late, and I don't want you to drive I don't want you to drive down to there's the mission, Atlanta Mission. That's where she came when she came up here. They're affiliated with St. Croix Mission Outreach for individuals who are battling addiction. Um, they can come. It's a facility. Have one for men, one for women, and they help individuals with who are battling in the midst of their addiction. And she was like, "I would like to take this extra food down." And so we drove downtown Atlanta to deliver the food. And I kid you not, y'all know, like I could go any place on St. Croix. Ain't get no place like I afraid. Me afraid no place on St. Croix, right? So like I pulled in, and y'all know I don't typically reverse any place. Well, I reversed on my car. I had the car facing forward in case I needed to leave, right? Because I don't know these people. I'm a Virgin Islander, me and an American, and American people act a little bit different, right? So, but when we came, all of the men that was standing up outside, they were just so, they were thankful. And I was like, hey, y'all can take the food up and get what you need. And they were like, oh no, we can't touch the food until the mission people come and like clear it or whatever. So I turned to my mother and said, what do you think? We gonna put weed or we gonna put drugs in the food? And she was like, no, it's just like a process that they go through to make sure that they log that donation was received for the gentleman. And so they get Crujan stuffing. Yes, they did. So we're going to have a lot of people in Atlanta that have real, true Crucian stuffing. My mother was trying to get me to make stuffing on my mini vacation. I was like, oh no. I want to thank Naima Charles, which is, that's my mother. You know, I don't know. They have such a beautiful friendship, my mother and Naima. And Naima made the like I was like, Mommy, how much stuffing Naima gonna make? But the stuffing was good. Like it was good. Like Naima, I mean, while she living up here, her grandmother teach she good. Like she bring her grandmother recipe up to the ATL. Her stuffing had taste like good Crujan stuffing. So Naima stuffing was rocking. And I like stuffing. Like I could eat stuffing and turkey. Like I prefer stuffing over macaroni and cheese. You know how a lot of people like macaroni and cheese? I ain't a big macaroni and cheese fan. Like I like macaroni and cheese, but my macaroni and cheese, I don't like that extra top layer cheese. I like just like macaroni without that extra layer of cheese on the top. I know y'all gonna take away my Virgin Islands card. It's okay. But um Naima, Stuffing is the bomb. Good morning, T. James Waterton. Good morning, Mig MP. Good morning, Regina. Good morning, Ilma. How are you? Yes, I will, Ilma, I will tell Letty you say hi. She's actually, I could hear her. I think she's in her kitchen making a cup of coffee. Um, so I will tell her. And it's so good. I don't know about y'all, but I like the fact that when I come to visit my mother, I get to be a child. I don't have to be responsible um, like that. So I have been getting, breakfast made for me every morning. And, Jamie, you want coffee? Yes, mommy. And, being getting a little spoiled. I go dead when I get on a plane to come back to St. Croix because typically I don't have to do nothing for Shashamani. Like she will get up and fix his breakfast, fix his lunch. She just has to know like, hey, we're changing the way we're eating. We're just trying to be a little bit more healthy. Um, so why I tell my mother, oh, we're trying to be a little bit more healthy. My mother buy everything in my mother fridge is zero. I did. um, zero sugar, um, no sugar, low fat, like wheatless bread, like I mean flourless bread, like everything in her fridge. And I was like, wow, there's so much choices. So like her fridge looked like a mini a mini grocery store takeout. She has like flavored, no calorie, no sugar added water and like you know non-fat vegetarian milk. I'm just like, okay, I didn't even know some of these things existed. So um no, my sure but I have been spoiled. I'm being spoiled. When I get back to St. Croix, I'm gonna be mad. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be like, Shashamani, you have to figure this crap out on your own because who ain't got time to be trying to figure stuff out for you is me. I've been learning. But I'm just gonna be a good mother. I'm gonna be responsible and treat him like how my mother treat me. No Star WS. It's not an ATL T-shirt. It's a I Love New York sweatshirt. New York is my favorite city in the world. It's not maybe I should get I love the ATL just because I have family here, but no, I have on a I Love New York T-shirt. Hey, good morning, Yami. How are you? No, I have on a I Love New York T-shirt. Yes. Yami, I in the ATL and I see you through. Kita sent me a picture with Ayo Christmas morning. Good morning, Senator Lewis. How are you? Happy holidays to all of you. Um, you've been in Houston, but let me tell y'all something. I don't understand Atlanta weather. So let me talk about Atlanta for 2 seconds. So we came in and we come out the night we come in, it was 50 something degrees, whole 50 something American degrees, right? Low 50s going down into the 40s, cold, like cold. It's so cold my nose started hot. Then the next day, like no, 2 days later, Christmas Day, it was like, oh, 70 degrees. I was like, what the hell? What is going on? I don't understand. And then the day before Christmas, which is actually Christmas Eve, like it started out a little bit warm, and then by the time you come out of the Walmart, it cold. You're like, but I didn't need the glove. I didn't need my gloves or my jacket when I left the house. How the hell I need a jacket now? Yes, Atlanta weather is very different. Um, they're confused. They don't know if they want to be a warm state or a cold state, and the weather is very confusing. And then it is December, and I am seeing people on the Christmas Eve day coming out of Walmart in flip flops, like, and like with a crop top and they belly out, and like they wearing like island clothes. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? It's like cold out here. And they were like, oh, this is good weather. I was like, oh, Jesus. Okay. That is why I can't live in America. I need weather that is consistent. I need a consistent temperature across the board. I don't need you. Um, oh Jesus, why Yamelsa said enjoy it because the cold is around the corner. Listen, that is what a woman told me. A woman told me, um, she heard my accent and she was like, where are you from? I said, a Virgin Islands. She's like, well, you're not gonna get Virgin Islands weather because we're about to have a cold front. I was like, oh, what? Okay. Well, I'll be back in the Virgin Islands hopefully before this cold front come, because let me tell you, your girl don't. The only thing I like about Atlanta is that, and just being in the States is like I like boots. Like I like boots. Like if I could get away with wearing boots in the Virgin Islands without people done watching me like a crazy all the time, I would wear boots in the Virgin Islands. I like boots, and I have cute ankles. Like my ankles are like the only thing on me that ain't fat. I Papa, not Papa, Chappie was telling me, Chappie was making joke, and Chappie was telling me, yeah, man, um, my mother hand, my mother hand and my mother ankle like super skinny. You don't know what size anklet to buy her and what size bracelet to buy her. But and he got me a bracelet, and then apparently I hurt his feelings, they say. So I want to thank my son. He got me, yeah, no, I don't wear jewelry, right? And I don't wear real jewelry anyways. Like, go to Marianne's and buy me a 7.99, buy one, get one half jewelry set, Ashley Stewart. But he got me a bracelet from Pandora. And um, for the listening audience, it's like a gold tube bracelet with just a single heart. And the heart is to represent my love for my sons. And for those of you who can see on Facebook, see it's here. See, it's like, it's cute. I like it. You know, yeah, it's cute. But I was like, Chappie, were we in the middle of doing things and you buying this? What you buying this for? You sure? I was like, you sure you want to take it back and get back your money? And my mom was like, oh, you make the boy feel bad. I was like, okay. Um, so that's what's going on. So I got a really nice, cute gift from him. And then I don't know. He and Shashamani was looking out for gifts. Shashamani gonna ask me for Christmas gift. I said, boy, you come to the States. That your gift is the trip to the States. What are you talking about? What more gifts you want? There's nothing to open. Open what? What is wrong with these children? Um, every place we go while we on this trip, Jamila sponsoring. So all of that is your gift. I don't understand what's wrong with children. Yeah, I don't understand. Um, yeah, 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 I am not spending. Jen, you're in the studio. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
I am not spending any extra money on children.
Oh,
No.
okay. Yeah, no.
Airline ticket expensive,
Very.
car car expensive. Going, and then my son. Let me tell you about Chappie. In Atlanta, if you come to Atlanta and somebody asks you, do you want to go to Phipps Plaza or to Lenox Square? Lenox Square is in New York. Oh Jesus, what a place was that Chappie Tech me last, yeah, this week. Lenox somebody and Phipps Plaza. Jen, the store had Tom Ford, Cartier, um, like brands that I can't even
Just
afford
the,
from an
just the
outlet
title
store.
sounded
And
expensive.
they don't have no outlet stores for these brands. And he was like, "Oh, let's just is he crazy?" I'm like, "No. No, Chappie." I was like, there would be not a t-shirt, a t-shirt like a lad, the t-shirt I like from the boy there in Watapanya Mall. Um the Havito, what your name? Havito Wa, Havito, whatever your name. Havito Wa, and the DPM and you know what I'm talking about. The DPM and that one there, and the other one, t-shirts like that. 200 and I see a two in front. I was like, that for a t-shirt? They must be crazy. Oh, yes, that's it. Lennox Mall. I don't have no business, but let me tell you, it's beautiful. It's like I can go there and just walk around and act cute. But I ain't even trying to go in the people in store. I might accidentally touch something and they say I stay in their shop and I have to pay for it. That's how expensive I was like, oh no. I was like, I sound like Kendrick Lamar. Oh no. I I clearly Star WS Corp. I'm telling you, I that mall is it's beautiful, people. When I tell you it's beautiful, you should go just to walk around and see it. So I had to tell Chappie, where is the Hood Mall? Where is the mall that the black folks that don't have a lot of money to go to? Take me there. I could act rich up in that mall. I ain't trying to be in this Phipps Plaza and Lenox Mall, and then um movie theater. I will never, ever again in my life complain about Caribbean cinemas ticket price. I just want, okay, oh, okay, okay, it said don't pay, okay, don't pay me no mind. Okay, that's my name. Don't pay me no mind. Yeah, t-shirts like that. Um, I just want y'all to know I am never, ever, ever going to complain. Well, maybe not ever, ever, ever. Don't make me a liar because I'm gonna probably still complain. But I'm going to reduce my complaining about Caribbean cinemas um, prices because let me tell you, them one price for a movie ticket up in America in the ATL in the Phipps Plaza movie theater um had had me in full cardiac distress. Okay.
Grab your chest and everything, like, oh my god.
Jen, my chest started hot. I was like, I was like, well, just as long as the bank card don't say decline, because I was like, Chappie, this can't be real life. Like, dude, and it apparently is real life. But the seats were really nice because you could lay back in the seats and you could lay back and sleep while the person who actually wants to watch the movie is watching the movie. But Jesus, I ain't able. I And then he's making plans for another movie before I come. I said, dude, I think I could only afford one movie. Isn't there parks that we can go to? Like Chappie, you can't find any free things for us to do. We can't take a stroll on the waterfront. But yeah, yeah, I know it's cheap, right? um oh see my VI 340 comics that he gonna give me the DP and the M. Okay, I don't know why I can't say those letters. I don't. Them letters don't make any sense when you say it out loud. But I'd be tying up my tongue to say it. Let me just. The name of the company is called Don't Pay Me No Mind. Y'all know I can't say that. I don't know. It must be the Puerto Rican in me. I can't say them letters all together. Yeah. D. Let's say go slow. DPMNM. Jen, don't be laughing after me. I know I sound slow. Done with it, no? Um, yeah. But let me tell you. Oh, he wants to know what size I wear. In my brain, sweetheart, I'm a size small, but I'm really like an extra large. I am in men. Jen, don't be killing me. But yeah, guys. So um yes, and let me tell you, Ilma said the seats are heated. So I didn't want to embarrass myself, but since Ilma brought it up, let me share my story with y'all. So I'm in this movie theater and I'm sitting and I put a seat back to lay back because I just figure I'm not going to like the Avatar movie, which I absolutely loved anyways. It was an excellent movie. You should go see it, right? And I don't know what button I pressed, Jen, but my banner started to get hot. And my back started to get hot. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell is this? Right. So my sister Rashida was next to me and I was like, Rash, um, what going on? Yeah, why touch? And listen, um, if ever, I don't know why to share these stories with y'all, so y'all can laugh after me, but let me just share it, right? Um, it had buttons on like the left hand side of the chair. And so I pressed the button and then my foot went up in the air and my head went back. I was like, ooh, this is kinky, right? I was enjoying it. But it's when all the heat come out and I call all my back start to burn on my banner and it was hot. And apparently I touched something that had my seat stem super hot. And Rashida was like, press the button, jump. And the more I press it, the hotter the seat get. And so, yeah, it was very uncomfortable. And let's just say, in order for me to get out of the chair, now imagine it. I fat, I all the way back in the people in the movie theater, and I had to try to get up out of the seat because I couldn't get a foot down. So, you know, use your imagination. And that is why your parents used to tell you, don't touch nothing. I went touching all the buttons. And when I tell her I touch all the buttons, the seat start to get hot, 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 burn up my banner, everything. So um, there must be a ghetto movie theater that we can go to that don't have heated seats, that have seats like St. Croix that are fold down, and if you're too small, it pop you back out. I want them kind of theater seats. Chappie wanted me to have an experience. I had the experience, and you know, I'm going to be the butt of some family jokes for several years to come because I couldn't figure out the seat business. But yeah, that's what's going on. Yes, I can't say that. Oh, answer it's see and don't touch. It's true, and but it has so much pretty buttons on the side, and I touch all of them, and that's what happened. So that's what's been happening. All right. Um, ain't really get much going on in the Virgin Islands. Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm sure there's a lot going on in the Virgin Islands, and there's a lot of things that you're hearing about. But because I'm on vacay mode, the real way, I haven't really been paying attention. I haven't been tuning in like that to what's happening. And I am going to the one thing I heard is that my boy my boy what a boy name? Oh lad, what Hugo Hodge has been named the chair of the WICO board. So congratulations to him. I think he replaced Jason Charles. I think Jason Charles was the previous chair of the WICO board, and according to it was on the local news. I played it back online. So according to the local news, he was elected the chair of the WICO board. So I don't know what happened, but yeah. So and that's what's going on here. And then the other thing that's interesting is that Jennifer O'Neill filed a motion. Well, not, it's not really interesting. Most people, after they've been convicted, did file a motion um, for an acquittal, saying that the jury got it wrong. The government didn't have all of the evidence to convict them, and that the jury didn't follow the law, and they're going to ask the judge to overturn the jury verdict 9 times out of 10, unless it is like blatant and open and clear that the government didn't present a case. Those judgments stand. But Jennifer O'Neill filed a motion for an acquittal, or she asked to get a new trial following conviction. Yes. So see, Carol. Good morning, Carol Tashira.
Yes,
Um, so that's what she's doing, and typically that's what people do. I have this story here. I'm gonna read the story. Y'all know that I get my news from our public broadcasting station
well, then
here
let's
in
do
the.
top of the hour real quick.
You're going. Oh, we have to do the top of the hour. Hold on, guys. I have to do the top of the hour. I'll be back in like however long Jen takes to do the top of the hour.
30 seconds.
Okay.
Stand up for the law. Stand up for decency. Stand up for compassion. Stand up for respect. Stand up for your community. Stand up for your future. Stand up for the Virgin Islands. WSDX FM 100, the soul of the Caribbean.
Season's greetings from AM 970 WSDX.
All right, you're good.
Okay. It says ex-OMB director Jennifer O'Neill files motion for acquittal judgment, new trial following conviction. You guys can find this at the WTJX.org newsfeed at newsfeed.wtjx.org. WTJX, of course, is our public broadcasting system in the territory. It's a system in our station is a system. All right. So, it says former Office of Management and Budget Director Jennifer O'Neill filed a motion on Christmas Eve for a judgment of acquittal and new trial following her conviction earlier this month in a government corruption case involving bribery on the grounds that the evidence presented at trial was insufficient to sustain a conviction. O'Neill's attorney, Dale Lionel Smith, requested that the court, pursuant to Rule 29C of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, enter a judgment of acquittal of each offense as the government's evidence presented at trial was insufficient to establish the essential elements of the crimes charged beyond a reasonable doubt. O'Neill and former Police Commissioner Ray Martinez were found guilty on December 11th of honest services wire fraud, federal program bribery, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Additionally, Martinez was found guilty of obstruction of justice. Their convictions were in connection to a bribery scheme involving David Whitaker, a cooperating government witness who owned a cybersecurity company called Monethos Pro Support. Smith, in the motion, wrote that the government failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that O'Neill possessed the required state of mind for committing any of the crimes charged because of the undisputed evidence that O'Neill had been informed by both Whitaker in his capacity as a government agent and Martinez that the money for the security deposit was provided to her by Martinez without her also being made aware by anyone that Martinez was involved in a conspiracy. Additionally, the motion states that Whitaker's isolated and ambiguous assertion of increasing an invoice standing alone, especially in light of the government's abandonment of its pressuring of an employee theory as the official act charged in the indictment and specified in its trial memorandum, is insufficient to establish beyond a reasonable doubt the essential elements and the interrelationships of those elements to each other. In short, Smith stated that increasing an invoice standing alone is insufficient to prove an exchange of something of value for an official act or the quid pro quo essential elements. Moreover, Smith wrote that in light of the government's abandonment of its pressuring theory at trial, after counsel's objection to the false assertion that O'Neill pressured an employee, the court should examine the record of proceedings before the grand jury, including the legal instructions to the grand jury to determine whether there was misconduct mandating a dismissal of charges against O'Neill. Smith wrote that O'Neill was unduly prejudiced by the overwhelming evidence of a long-running and unrelated conspiracy between Whitaker and Martinez, of which she was never made aware. As a result, he stated that O'Neill was deprived of her constitutional right to a fair trial, which could have only been provided to her by a separate trial and apart from Martinez. During the trial, Smith made an oral Rule 29 motion for acquittal on similar grounds, to Judge Mark Kearney. In that oral motion, he argued that because his client was unaware of the conspiracy between Martinez and Whitaker, she could not be found guilty on the charges as she was not a conspirator. Kearney denied the oral motion during trial, as well as the Rule 29 motion entered by Martinez. Martinez, who accepted nearly $100,000 in bribe payments from Whitaker, used his authority to approve invoices and award Whitaker a $1.4 million federally funded contract. O'Neill approved a $70,000 inflated invoice under the same contract and later accepted a $17,730 lease payment for her coffee shop using federal funds from the inflated invoice. In the same filing, Smith requested that the court grant a new trial if the interest of justice so requires. He requested the court set the date for filing the memorandum of law in support of the motions in a minimum of 45 days after receipt of the trial transcript, as well as allow a reasonable period to file a reply to any response the government may file. In the alternative, Smith requested his motion filed Wednesday be deemed a motion to extend a 14-day period for filing a motion for judgment of acquittal and new trial. O'Neill's sentencing is scheduled for 9 a.m. June 11, 2026. Martinez is scheduled to be sentenced at 9 a.m. on June 9th. Both sentencing will be in the district court on St. Thomas. So, the fact of the matter is that sometimes when, and I've said, I can say this because it's true, sometimes you need to cut a deal, and everybody in the territory should know if you are arrested of bribery and corruption against the government or any of those types of related charges. The people in the Virgin Islands, we have been so, we've seen so many things, and we've seen people get away with so much, while we may not have actual concrete proof of certain things. We've seen people who have $100,000 salary build a multi-million-dollar house or homes, and we see things and we're perplexed by how certain people ascertain the things that they have. Now, my grandmother always tell me, don't be envious of what another person have, because you don't know what they did to get it, right? That being said, you get arrested. You know what the climate is in the Virgin Islands. If somebody offers you a plea deal, you take a plea deal. The time to have asked for a separate trial was before the trial start. You should have asked the judge a long time before to have a separate trial and be like, I don't know. But what happened is these men and these women, they don't feel like I have already gotten away, if in fact they got away, or I am smarter than the system. And I know this because I know people, I have relatives who think that they were smarter than everybody else. And so they think because they're so smart that they could go in and somehow beat a system. You're not going to beat the system when everybody in the Virgin Islands believe that there are levels of corruption that exist within government. Let's just be real, let's just be honest. And I would never advocate for anybody and tell anybody, don't use the judicial system, and it's your right to appeal, it's your right to mount a defense, you exercise all the rights that you have, but sometimes you have to read the tea leaves and and read the room. And while you're saying, your attorney is saying you didn't know, it begs the question, you really think Ray Martinez had an extra $20,000 laying down in his house to give you when everybody in St. Thomas know that he was struggling to build his business up? Like, pick sense from nonsense. If he had extra money, that extra money shouldn't have been going to open his chicken shop that, according to everybody in St. Thomas, was taking so long to build. So I'm just saying, again, it is her right. It is it is her right to proceed and appeal and say I am innocent. If and some of them, they really believe like they did nothing wrong, and I tell people all the time, it for a long time a judge tell me you are wrong. When the judge tell me, Jamila, you why are you ain't taking no money from nobody and you ain't charge nobody nothing and you just print a license to the person who already had a license, the judge said the rules had changed, so I need to do whatever they said I need to do. You are wrong. And I stand up and I tell the judge, tell me I was wrong. I was like, okay, ma'am. And I didn't go, I was wrong. I took accountability. I said, do what you need to do. Let me move past this mistake. Now you can't ask me for no favor because I ain't got none to give, right? But so many people don't want to learn from their mistakes, and so many people believe that they can outsmart a system that wasn't designed to help us in the beginning. It wasn't a system designed to help us, and I'm just saying she has a right to file an appeal. She can appeal it till she can't appeal it no more. And this is on the district court level. So you're gonna appeal to eventually you're gonna appeal to the Third Circuit. After the Third Circuit, all you can appeal to is to the Supreme Court of the United States. And 9 times out of 10, the US Supreme Court isn't going to take up this case. But she can appeal. I can't tell her not to appeal, and down the road we go. All right. Wait, I start my show early today. Why my clock saying a wrong time? What time you have, Jen? Where is Jen? Why I feel? Oh no. Okay, you guys, let me tell you how slow I am. Y'all know I'm super slow, right? I am so super slow. It's 9 o'clock in the Virgin Islands, right, Jen? Where did Jen go? I lost Jen. Okay, I'm gonna wait for Jen to come back. I need for somebody who is in the Virgin Islands to tell me what time it is. Okay. It is? Okay, thank you guys, because I just watched this and it said 8:13. I was like, wait, I was early for once in my life. Slow, little board. Okay, thanks. Okay, so we good. So it's her right to appeal. However, I think that the rule 29, the judge is going to rule that and under the court has like a rule system, and like you can ask them to throw out things based on various rules, like you didn't file a motion in time, so let's throw it out. You didn't give us this piece of evidence in discovery, let's toss the case. So there's a bunch of rules that you have to follow. They're called trial rules, and there are a bunch of rules that you have to follow. And sometimes if one attorney don't follow some of the rules, the person who's being tried try to use the failure to comply with the rules as grounds for dismissal of the charges, because in a lot of cases, if the charges are dismissed, double jeopardy or jeopardy is attached, and then they can't refile the case.
Jamila, it's 9:15 in the Virgin Islands.
It's 9:15. Okay, thanks. The audience tell me, because Jen, I thought I was super early for once, but I think that the district court judge I don't think that he's going to toss her, and I don't even think he's going to grant her a new trial, because my understanding of a conspiracy is that you don't have to know all of the facts of the conspiracy. They just have to tie you to a singular element within the conspiracy for a conspiracy charge to be attached. And I know this because I know people who have been tried for a lot of these same exact charges in the same court system, who fight it all the way to the Third Circuit, and the Third Circuit ruling is quite clear. So if she's granted a new trial, you're gonna still have the same pool of Virgin Islanders. And I don't think that there's I don't, I mean, there may be one Virgin Islander that may think that you're innocent and, you got a hung jury, but, it is what I think it's hard. I think that even if you're granted a new trial, if the prosecution at that point offers you a deal, that you should take the deal. Um, because not because they dropped the pressuring element. I have been on the radio for a long time, and that was an agency that had massive turnovers in OMB, and they're going to I didn't go to law school. I am not the sister with ESQ behind my name, but if it goes forward, um, I think that the government would bring in a lot of those former employees and ask them why they left. What was the conditions like? Have you ever been asked? Not this particular invoice, because all they have to do is establish a pattern of behavior. Did Director O'Neill ever call you before and ask you to process an invoice outside the scope of the normal process? And once they have they're gonna lay the foundation. And there's a lot of disgruntled former employees that left that agency. Um, so I'm just saying, you know, somebody asked, can they be pardoned? No, they can be pardoned. Everybody can be pardoned. Let me just make that clear. They can be pardoned, but it would have to be a presidential pardon. So I'm assuming you're asking if Albert Bryan can pardon them. No, Albert Bryan can't pardon them. These charges are federal charges. Only the President of the United States can pardon them. Okay? Um, yes. So that's what's happening. Let's see. I saw somebody else. Yeah, I'm an hour behind y'all. Thank you. All right. Thank you guys, because I was having a slow moment. Yeah, so that's what's happening. And it's telling me talk about people getting thrown under the bus, but I don't know who getting thrown under the bus. And you forget I a little bit out of the loop. I need me to go what page where I need to go look for whoever getting thrown under the bus. Um, and again, it may very well be, and just so the listening audience can understand, after you're found guilty, right? You can still make a deal with the federal government to have a lighter sentence and say, hey, in exchange for your recommendation that I solve home confinement, let me tell you about what Mary is doing over there. So I'm assuming that that's what Anne is talking about. Like, if there are people in government that might be slightly frightened off, thinking that they may have done something, and Ms. O'Neill or Mr. Martinez have any information to share about them. If you ain't done nothing with them, I'm sure you're gonna sleep good at night. If I guess if you know you do something with them, I'm sure you're sitting up at night biting your fingernails. And you're gonna have to tell us a little bit who getting thrown under the bus, because I don't know. I listened to Trial Watch. I actually went back and I watched Trial Watch. If y'all have an opportunity to, you can go back and watch Trial Watch on YouTube. I went back and I watched Trial Watch to hear some of the, like who else could have been getting called, and if they have any other, because Senator Frankie Johnson alluded to some additional charges coming, but I don't know. I don't know who. I don't know who else. What other agencies had any other relationships with the guy from Monethos? So we'll check it out and we'll hear. But I am sure that whoever gonna be trying under the bus, they, if I were them, I would make sure that I am prepared. If you know you were doing something with these two that were convicted, or you were doing something illegal in your shop with the federal monies, and you think the federal government is circling around, sometimes, I ain't telling you to snitch, because, I'm from the hood. We don't promote snitching, right? I'm from this, right? But it may be in your best interest for you to engage in the initial conversation than it's better for you to go knock on their door, like how Plaskett went and knock on Epstein's door, than to have them come and knock on your door. That's all. That's all. That's all. All right. So let's see. Okay. So what you want me to talk about? Stanley serenaded St. Damas. Yes, on a more festive note. So let's get back to the festivities. You get me trying to talk about all of these things. Yeah, let me see. So I waiting for them. Yeah, I want me to talk. Yeah, the comments want me to change the subject. Okay, and they want me to change to Stanley. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know how to feel about that. If y'all want I want my honest opinion about this. Okay, listen. Okay, wait, before I change the subject, VI340, VI340 just made a comment about the emails. Listen, let me tell you something, right? Them Epstein files and them Epstein emails, listen, I am convinced that you have people in the Virgin Islands that when they go to meet the maker, God gonna tell them, you cause harm, irreparable harm to a bunch of people, girl, children wrong ya, and ain't gonna space behind these poly gates for you. And we're gonna delve into that in January, because it ain't gonna go so. We're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about that in a minute, right? But let us talk about. I'm going to talk about now. I want me to change the subject, but yeah, Epstein files are delicious. I like when I said delicious in content. Like, there's so many things that we can talk about, and we will, right? But it's Christmas. It's a happy time in the Virgin Islands, and y'all want me to talk about Stanley. I don't know how to feel about Stanley going to St. Thomas. I don't know. I woke up, I heard it. My sister was trolling me. She sent me pictures with daddy and all of that stuff. And I saw some live streams, because I tell her I let you live on Facebook. I think my mother might be 340 Comics favorite fan. She don't know everything that's going on in the Virgin Islands, right? But and I saw the Stanley Tramp. And let me talk to Aya Crucians for a second, right? Let me talk to Aya for a second. This is why in the Virgin Islands, things that are unique to St. Croix, we don't show support. I am an avid serenade person, and I could tell you the groups and the handful groups of Crucians that come out every year and support WTJX, support Arta, Tanya, them, Stanley, and all of the guys at the serenades. They'll go and they'll do the serenade. You'll see the people them tramping from the market square up to WTJX, the tramping from the post office down to Frederickstead, the tramping grove, and it is the same nucleus of people, right? The same set of people, the same small crowd. You know how shame I was, because we on St. Croix don't appreciate the treasure we have and support Stanley the way St. Thomas come out and support Stanley. Crucians, we have to do better, man. Our video, they'll be looking sparse, nobody there behind the truck. People in the front, but ain't got nobody in the back. In St. Thomas, they had people in front the truck, behind the truck, to the side of the truck, umbrella up in the air, and they hoing. How did Santa get here down the road? And I was like, ho. Brought Stanley over. Yes, I was jealous. Star, I was jealous. and they were dancing in the rain. Oh, okay. Y'all remind me to talk about something for Kaiser. All right. St. Thomas come out in full support of Stanley. I see young people, I see old people, I see middle-aged people, I see all kind of people. I was like, I said, this cannot be real life. I said, how is it that St. Thomas is loving up on Stanley? I was legit, I am just gonna tell you, I was low-key mad. MAD mad. And I was like, man, now Stanley gonna want to do this every year because they had such a good crowd in St. Thomas. They might accidentally bump their head and think that they could be doing this every year in St. Thomas, and then I gonna get really mad, right? But I'm glad that y'all got to enjoy the music. Star tell me don't be jealous. But listen, y'all were dancing in the rain, showing love on Stanley. You know, I listen, and I didn't think when I heard that they were going to St. Thomas, in my mind, I was like, I hope these St. Thomians don't treat Stanley bad. Like, I hope, in my mind, I thought like, I hope I don't flop them out and not come out and serenade, because serenading ain't all your thing. Y'all to do the Battle of the Carols, them churchy kind of music for, yeah, St. Thomas, I had to do them boring music on Christmas morning, like dead people music, like at a funeral. I don't like the Battle of the Carols. God forgive me for saying it, but it don't have no oomph in the music, like happy songs. It'll be like you're there to mass. Who want to be to mass on Christmas morning when you're opening gifts? But when I saw the umbrellas open when the rain come down, I was like, oh hell no. I was like, rain don't stop the fete. I and then y'all knew the songs. Well, everybody knows the Christmas carols, but y'all knew how we do it on St. Croix, you know. And then I'll tell you, because y'all know I'm super sensitive and emotional. When the part come on, but go morning, how you want that? Y'all know I don't know the words, right? But I shed a tear, Virgin Islands pride. So there was a part of me that was extremely irritated and jealous. And then there was a part of me that was just filled with hope that, the division between our islands can be mended and healed. And they said there's nothing that unifies people like music. And it was so clear. Like when I see the umbrellas in the air, I was like, they.
Jamila, you're muted. Your mic is muted.
You can hear me now, Jen?
Yes.
But I was trying to reconnect. Okay, I was trying to reconnect. Sorry, guys, my AirPods died. Yeah. So my mom bought me Apple. I have sorry, my mom bought me, what do these things called? Apple AirPods for like my birthday, like 2 years ago. And I was trying to connect them. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, but now I can't see you.
Oh, no, you can't see me. Wait, hold on. Okay, you can see me now?
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know how to walk these things, right? But you can hear me now, Jen?
Yes, you sound good.
Okay. All right, good. So I like St. Thomians. Thank you for coming out to support Stanley. But just know this was a one and done. This was like a one night stand. He ain't texting you back. He ain't calling you to make sure you get home safe. None of that. This was a true full-fledged. Listen, wasn't even a one night stand. Okay, because a one night stand indicates that it lasted for longer than it did. This was a hookup in the bathroom at the club. He ain't checking for you. He's back on the dance floor with who he come to the club with, which is St. Croix. All right? Understood? Do not get it twisted. All right. And very sad. I want whatever little miscreant went out there, whatever little want-to-be thug went out there and broke into Kaiser's car and took all Kaiser's belongings. You know who you are. Somebody, and this is why I don't like with Ayo. I tell her about this all the time. Y'all know that Ayo children bringing home something that don't belong to them, that you invite them. I understand it was Christmas morning. I understand that Kaiser car might have looked like he had a lot of nice things in it, but Kaiser worked for what he have to give it to who he was buying it to give to, and his personal paperwork is his personal stuff. Now, God, Jesus, you take the man thing out his car. You can't leave his paperwork. You can't leave his personal pictures. You can't leave his ID. Even if you don't want to report your child, which you should be, because it's just wrong and people need to be accountable, return the guy's stuff. Go down to the board of education and accidentally leave it outside the door. Somebody's going to find Kaiser and give it to Kaiser. If you're on the waterfront, accidentally drop it off. Act like you're walking into the seaplane and leave it on a chair by the seaplane, and then call the seaplane and say, do something, but give him back his stuff. This is what's wrong. Let me tell you, on Christmas Day, we were reminiscing. We could not bring anything in Granny apartment that we did not buy. I come home either in 11 or 12th grade, and I come home with Tomas Evangelista watch on my hand and his gold bracelet, because we went to the soccer game after school, and I was holding Tomas' bracelet and his watch on my hand. I come home, they dropped me off in the project, and they went, because I lived in Harrigan Court, and of course they lived in a real house down the road in Estate Prosperity, right? So they dropped me off home first. I walk into my grandmother's house. I think I had on a jacket. By the time I took off my jacket, what is on your hand? I was like, oh, that's Tomas' watch. Tomas could not have reached. I live by the post office. For those of you who are not from Frederiksted, St. Croix, I apologize. People from Frederiksted will understand this. I don't even think Tomas reached Holy Land Kana. My grandmother was like, where you got that from? Me buy that for you. Where you got that from? Who you thief that? I was like, it's Tomas' watch. How I gonna thief Tomas' watch? He was playing a game, Granny, and he gave it to me to hold. I will give it back to him in the morning when I go to school. My grandmother cussed. When I tell you, my grandmother cussed me. She and then she went on the phone in Spanish. Jamila. Jamila. So I know she's talking about me, right? Next thing I know, when my aunt come from work, because my aunt them to come by my grandmother's house, my grandma was like, well, we're going to Dr. Evangelista house right now to see if this is Tomas' watch. I was like, Granny, it is Tomas' watch. Why would I lie? I know you're crazy. Why would I lie? Well, let me tell you. I went, my grandmother shamed me. So by the time Auntie Jerry come home, right, Tomas had must reached by the ballpark, right? Because he dropped me off. And like by the time Tomas maybe reached by the ballpark, my aunt pull up. My grandmother my Aunt Jerry used to drive one of them two-seater car. It's like a Dodge two-seater X something ZT with an initial, but it was like a little speed car, and they only had 2 seats, right? My grandmother make me climbing in the hatch of that car. I fat from long, hunch over in the back of the car because we have to go to Dr. Evangelista house. Shame. Gone to Dr. Evangelista house. My grandmother in her bed slippers come out of the car. This your watch. And Tomas come out and was like, hi, Granny, how are you? And give her a hug and a kiss. And Miss Corazon, that was Tomas' mother name. All of them is Catholic together. She come out and they talk Spanish. And they Spanish, right? I give Tomas the watch. I said, Tomas, I'm so sorry. He was laughing, right? I said, Miss Andy, because my grandmother, like they coming to pick me up to drop me to school. They dropping me home from, Dr. Evangelista told you it was no problem with them dropping me. Only when after Dr. Evangelista talked to my grandmother, I was allowed. Because before that, I don't know what my grandmother thought that me and Tomas used to be doing. between Harrigan Court and Good Hope School. Like, what you could do? Like, honestly, anyways. So, to the parent of that miscreant, be like my grandmother and take the child to give back what you know you ain't buy for them. That is the problem. Chappie can't bring nothing in my house that mean buy. I don't understand. I don't care. Please give back Kaiser his stuff. You know how much of a hassle it's going to be for him to go and get a new driver's license, a new birth certificate, a new social security, his new passport, his pictures with his grandmother, his picture with his mom. Come on, man. Give back the boy he thing. I must stop. You can't like his things more than he like it. That's just wrong. You know? Oh, somebody said it might be vagrant or homeless. No. 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 If it's one thing I know, right? Yeah. Well, let's not blame it on the vagrants, right? I know a lot of people, even people in their addiction, people who are homeless, people who might be living on the street, they don't thief. They will ask you before they thief from you. This is somebody child that take them thing in a mother house. This ain't nobody living on the street. God gonna have to come down and tell me different. We will not put the blame on the homeless people or on people who going through their addiction or people who are on the street. That is somebody who know well enough to go thief up things out of in Kaiser car. Natanya Empress Lirdam tell me, oh, she had an embarrassment and it was one and done. Oh, your grandmother come to school? Oh my gosh. Listen, that'll be the worst. Yeah, that'll be the worst. But I'm just hoping that somebody knows and please give back Kaiser his belonging. It's just wrong. You know, and then you gonna okay it, and then your same friend, your same child friend who see that you're okay with stealing, when they and your friend they and your child follow, they're gonna thief from you because they don't know what in your house. So you need to Star WS Corp said over here the vagrants love to break into cars. It happens all the time. You there in Atlanta still? Up here? Atlanta or home? Because it don't happen on St. Croix. It don't happen on St. Croix. So I don't know. But I would just hope that y'all give back Kaiser his stuff, please, and thank you. And if y'all know Kaiser, the longer you keep it and if you act like it's your own, when the police find the person, Kaiser will tell them to press charges. He will use you as an example. So, you know how you just go to the FBI and beg for mercy before time? Try give Kaiser back his stuff soon before he really get frig up and then decide your child gonna be the example, because he will be down to the AG office every day and he will be acting like Inspector Gadget, and he will go back to college just to get a law degree to be able to go prosecute the person who thief his stuff. So please give back Kaiser his stuff, okay? What? Somebody said co-worker car. Yeah. Kaiser said it was not a homeless person. See, I don't tell you, he done Inspector Gadget in it. He gonna figure it out. I gonna beg y'all, please give back Kaiser his stuff, because if I know Kaiser is going to ask every person who have a Ring camera, a Zoom camera, a Teams camera, Kaiser gonna comb through all the live footage and that exists on the interweb, and he gonna spot his car and he gonna see who been wrong his car, and he's going to investigate. And I want you, if your child bring Kaiser Calwood ID, social security, any belongings for Kaiser, for the sake of your child, you know, you don't thief for your thief, try giving back his personal papers so that, you know, he don't get frig up, because when he get frig up, I feel sorry for you, and I can't. Well, I don't have no power to talk Kaiser off the ledge. Kaiser tell me I had one and done, and I use up my one, so he gonna go over the ledge with Ayo. All right, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And you know, Natanya is very strict. If it was a homeless person, they wasn't gonna take he personal papers. So right, yep. So whoever it was, please return my partner Kaiser stuff back to him. All right. So Kaiser, I hope that this doesn't turn you sour to you know, I hope this don't turn you sour to Stanley that this happened while Stanley was happening. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Naima, how are you? How are you? Um, thank you. Yo, listen, for those of you joining late, I'm broadcasting from an undisclosed location. If you're just tuning in, you're at 9:70 a.m. on your radio dial, wstxradio.com, or you're following me on my Facebook page. And I am, I like to say undisclosed location, right? Y'all know I'm in the ATL with my family. And being here, I am super convinced that I definitely can live in America, in the States. Um, I just um I can't. The weather is dyslexic in Atlanta, at least. Like Atlanta is schizophrenic, not dyslexic, schizophrenic. And I'm a true island girl, to the bone. I'm convinced. Yeah. I gone dead on St. Croix. Okay, just I love it. But I wanna just thank everybody. Again, you know, my ride or dies. You guys, every Christmas I'm reminded that the love, although y'all fickle, which is fine. You know, Virgin Islanders, we're fickle people. I gonna say something, I'm gonna piss a group of you off, and then I gonna come on the chat and cuss me out. And you know, the next week then y'all like me again. Somebody's like, "Oh, how you to deal with that?" I said, "You think I to study them?" I said, "Listen, you know how much time I don't get cussed by my own audience?" And then I had to tune in. Some of y'all to tune in just to cuss me. And I'm like, y'all just don't know. They'll tune in just to cuss me, which is fine, you know, because I don't want everybody agreeing with me. I need for people to be cussing me. That's good. It makes for healthy debate. It makes me stay on my toes. But I am always happy to be able to share, um, you know, hope with people. I tell people all the time, you know, I am super blessed in this life. As I sit in my mother's house and I'm looking at, you know, she has, first of all, foremost, my mother house is beautiful. Letty is, you know, everything have a place, everything have a order. I put my bag on her kitchen counter, and she's like, "Oh, there's a chair for your bags," and I'm like, I put them here, and I'm like, "Oh Lord, really? It can't be that serious, mommy, right?" But um, she has all of these pictures, and she has a picture of her mother, my grandmother, the person who raised me, and there's no greater joy than to have love and support of your parents, or your grandparents. And so many people, we have the non-traditional life. And when I hear, you know, I've shared this story with y'all before, you know, when came out, there was a guy, a little boy in Kmart, and he went to buy a card for his mother who's, you know, who was addicted and living on the streets. And he wanted to buy his mother, you know, a Christmas card. And his grandmother was in there helping him to pick it out. And she shared with me, you know, you tell us like it's okay, you know, that's her child on the street, you know, and she was there with her grandchild. And my grandmother made me every holiday go look for her daughter, because if we're going to have a Christmas meal, she wanted to make sure her daughter had a Christmas meal and that her daughter had enough food to share with whoever else was around her. I've had cousins and uncles in jail, and my grandmother would make us go on the weekend for their visit and carry. This is back when you could carry food in the jail, and we didn't have a car, and we used to have to catch bus and then walk in from Center Line all the way to literally. For those of you who live in St. Thomas, and only know the two roads on St. Croix, you catch a bus on Queen Mary Highway, and then you have to walk all the way to like Melvin Evans Highway to get to the jail. And my grandmother would make us, the nieces, we would have to walk with food to carry to her grandchild or her sons who were in jail. And my grandmother always felt like food was my grandmother's love language, and she felt like if you had a plate of food and somebody needed it, that you shared it, and that you don't be greedy with food, that you share and you extend and you help anybody you can help. Even my grandmother used to say, she only had an eighth grade education, and she cleaned for a living. You know, she used to tell us, I clean people toilet and wash clothes to take care of my children and my grandchildren. But she always shared. You know, if she had a pot of rice and beans, anybody could come to her door and she would give them rice and beans. And so it's important for me to always share with you that where you start out in life doesn't have to be your ending place in life. Um, you know, my brother is a doctor teaching at Georgia State University. Um, I don't know if I would be considered a success in my mother's eyes. Her son is her success. But I'm doing okay for myself. And this is coming from somebody whose mother got pregnant with her at 15 and had her at 16, and who lived a vast majority of my life in addiction. And she's no longer in addiction, and she has for the last 16 years been, or 17 years been sober, and has a wonderful relationship with her grandchildren. And every day that we're on this earth, every day we are blessed by God to see another day, is a new day to chart a new course. And if you don't like the way your life is going, you can change it. And you know, if somebody who told me, quite frankly, I can be on drugs until I die, can decide I can no longer be on drugs, you can do it. I My son is a C4 quadriplegic, and he has a college degree. He's working for a large insurance company, and he's married and is a homeowner. If he can do that, able-bodied folks can do it. We can always change where we want to go in life, and the only thing that's holding us back is the shackles we place on ourselves. And so we have to remove those shackles and remove the limitations that we think exist, and just soar and be the best version of yourself possible, and just try to be a better you every day. All right. And enough with the preachy stuff. um Enough with the preachy stuff, and let's just talk about food. Listen, I just want to thank my family. Listen, my cousin Paquito, I tell her that girl Berisia, although I'm gonna say this, and the Crucian people gonna take away my Crucian card just now. But like I told y'all, Naima make the Crucian stuffing wonderful. We had a St. Tomian. Berisia is from St. Thomas. And Berisia prepared like 90% of all the other stuff. I tell you, she make like curry goat. We had shrimp and lobster in butter sauce. It had fried turkey, roast turkey, like all kind of smoked turkey. It had like different kind of turkey. It had 3 different turkey. It had roast pork. It had salmon. It had this kingfish thing that come from this Saint Thomas. Berisia is from Saint Thomas. She cook up all the food that tastes good. And then we had this other kingfish thing from a dude from Saint Thomas. I don't like kingfish. Why I like the fish? I was like, I don't even know why I just tell my listening audience these things so y'all can use it against me. The boy from St. Thomas cook, and then Barisia sent me to another dude from St. Thomas who live up here that does make Johnny cake. And while they're Gucci link Johnny cakes and they had the Gucci link in it, right? The Johnny cake were good. I was like, I said, oh, he must either get his dough shipped from St. Croix and he'd just act like because he from St. Thomas, he'd fry it up here. Listen, that's my story and I'm sticking to it because there's no way his Johnny cake would have good. The Johnny cake was really good. Johnny cake and the patties was so good. And I was like, and then I tell him, okay, or maybe maybe I get up here and I just a little sick. Maybe I'm sick. I have a cold or something and I just can't taste because I don't know. Yes, that's who it is. How Naima know? Yes, is that Albert Rude Boy Peter saying, yeah, that's the Johnny cake. Yes. Listen, the Johnny cake was good. I don't even understand. Listen, man, had me liking St. Tomian food. I was so mad. I keep telling y'all, these things get me upset that I'd be liking things me supposed to like. But the food was really good. And so I just want to thank them again for feeding me. And yeah, so on my plate, I had stuffing, I had a piece of the kingfish, I had a Johnny cake, and then I had turkey. I love turkey. And so I had turkey. And then they were asking me, okay, so I didn't know the difference between the roast turkey, the smoked turkey, and it had some other kind of fried turkey. Turkey's turkey. Like, they were like, oh, which turkey you have, Jamie? I was like, I take one out of each of the pot. I don't know the difference. Like, come on. Like, this is me we're talking about. I just was eating. And then, of course, because white Barisia spoil we and bring like real lobster, right? So I was like, I'm gonna eat lobster. And so I had the lobster shrimp thing. It was delicious. It had pepper in it, and I don't really like pepper, but because I like lobster and shrimp, like I don't eat spicy food at all. I have low tolerance for like spice in my food. But your girl greedy. I had to eat up some of the lobster, and then my niece whose mother is from St. Thomas and my brother of course is from St. Croix, she made this thing called a sweet potato souffle. I don't know what I was, but the sweet potato souffle is like a cousin to stuffing. It was good too. And then I didn't know. Let me tell you something, right? My family cook. My cousin Magnolia, oh lad, what Maggie, lad, I don't call the girl Magnolia. That's not her real name, by the way. Her real name is Magnolia, but I don't call her Magnolia. Magnolia make a pound cake or a plain cake or whatever, some kind of cake, whatever the cake was. It was light and airy, and I was like, but Maggie, when you learn how to bake cake, she was like, oh, it's Nanny. I was like, oh, so Nanny is lad, look how Nanny gonna cost me. What Nanny real name is? Jesus, when you call people by the nickname. But Nanny grew up with Nanny and Maggie's been friends from forever. They're like the bestest friends. But Nanny grew up in Campo Rico, and she's a Puerto Rican, obviously. And this cake was delicious. Maggie make 3 of the pound cakes them, and then Maggie make coquito. I was like, Maggie, when you learn to make coquito? Like, where was I when all of my cousins were learning all of these culinary treats in the kitchen? And the coquito was banging. It tastes like real Puerto Rican coquito, not this pistachio and almond milk and coconut milk and all kind of different flavor pistachio strawberry crap that is be trying to put in coquito, but it was real Puerto Rican coquito. And like the plain cake from Nanny, she said, "Is Nanny, give me the recipe. Nanny, teach me it." Well, her cake was off the joint. And then Tiffany, who's my cousin that passed away, her daughter, I like cornbread, and she made some honey cornbread thing. So everybody was packing up food, right? What Jamie pack up? I pack up like 4 slices of pound cake. I pack up the pound cake. I pack up the cornbread, and then my niece make a pumpkin pie, and the pumpkin from scratch. My niece make a pumpkin pie from scratch, and I only get one sliver of pumpkin pie. I had the one sliver in my to-go container, and then everybody was talking about how good it was. I take it, and then when I went back to look for more pumpkin pie, the pumpkin pie I done, I was vexed, and I was trying to slide somebody pumpkin pie, but I didn't get it. And then my aunt made some like pretzel dessert. It's like an American dessert because she married to a man from Michigan. So it's like a Michigan kind of dessert. It was like pretzels to the bottom and like cream cheese and jello. And yeah, it tastes good, but I had never seen it before. I don't even know what it called. But yeah, it tastes good. So while everybody else pack up food, I pack up desserts. So I had the desserts. And then I brought up tarts. But my mother them like the tarts. I don't like. They like them pie tart. I don't eat them kind of tart. I like fall over tart. Yeah, because I don't want to eat the crust. So I didn't get any tart though, because I don't get tart home. But that was my Christmas day, and okay, these Saint Tomians does be trying to just you can't let them in on nothing. You can't pay them a compliment. They just go running down the road. The best cooks real St. Thomas food. Well, somebody tell me the best cook around St. Thomas come from St. Croix. Okay, no, the food was good though. Oh, Naima said she's heard about sweet potato souffle. I've never heard about it, but my grandmother Puerto Rican, so I never had that. So that's it. That does it. It's my clock here saying 8:57. So I mean it must be 9:57 back home. So I should be wrapping up, right, Jen? So
Yes, I'm here.
so this the season. I don't know if y'all are Christian, non-Christians, anybody. This is a season of love, peace, and family. You don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe, whoever you to pray to, continue to pray to. But this is a time for all of us to come together and just spread love, spread happiness, and spend time with our loved ones. There are a lot of people walking around not talking to this body, that body. I think it's a new thing where Oprah them talking about, oh, protect your peace. All this newfangled bull crap. We have to learn how to forgive people. And at the end of the day, if you need a kidney, you don't get a kidney from a stranger. It'll be somebody in your family that's going to test and be able to donate the kidney. So make peace with your family. I'm not saying that you have to speak to them every day and be with them every day, but we have to bring a level of peace back to the Virgin Islands, bring peace back to the families. Because a lot of these things that happen where you see violence in the street, it's families against families, people who don't even realize that they're related. And so just connect with your family, connect with the people you love. I came on this morning to connect with y'all because I love y'all so very much. And okay, and yeah. See, this says St. Thomas comments getting crazy now. Yeah, they are. So just connect with the people that you connect with the people you love, connect with the people you care about. If y'all are celebrating our Crujan Christmas Festival, be safe and don't destroy the jam with violence. I don't know how to be anybody but Jamila. I happen to love being Jamila, and I happen to love the family that I was born into. If you're celebrating Kwanzaa, today is about unity. So until next week, bye-bye. Thanks, Jen.
Yep. Have a good day.
Okay, bye-bye.